Can someone legally change the locks on your house while you're away? Can a neighborhood committee have the power to shut you out of your own home without a court order? What if they claimed it was because you painted your front door the wrong color? Sounds insane, right? Now imagine returning from a trip, suitcase in hand, only to find your key doesn't work. Not because of some accident, but because a smug little HOA board decided you were the problem. This happened to me. They thought they'd teach me a lesson, but instead, they triggered the pettiest, most satisfying revenge I've ever planned. You see, while they tried to bully me into submission with fake rules and sneaky tactics, I installed something they never saw coming. A 1-ton titanium-reinforced, blast-proof bank vault door right on the front of my suburban home. Why? Because if they want to play power games, they'd better be ready to lose control. This isn't just a story about a door. It's about how far a homeowners association will go to control people, and how sweet it feels when you turn the tables. So if you've ever dealt with entitled neighbors, unfair rules, or passive-aggressive power trips, buckle up, because what they did to me was illegal. What I did back, let's just say, it changed everything. Can someone legally change the locks on your house while you're away? Can a neighborhood committee have the power to shut you out of your own home without a court order? What if they claimed it was because you painted your front door the wrong color? Sounds insane, right? Now imagine returning from a trip, suitcase in hand, only to find your key doesn't work. Not because of some accident, but because a smug little HOA board decided you were the problem. This happened to me. They thought they'd teach me a lesson, but instead, they triggered the pettiest, most satisfying revenge I've ever planned. You see, while they tried to bully me into submission with fake rules and sneaky tactics, I installed something they never saw coming. A 1-ton titanium-reinforced, blast-proof bank vault door right on the front of my suburban home. Why? Because if they want to play power games, they'd better be ready to lose control. This isn't just a story about a door. It's about how far a homeowners association will go to control people, and how sweet it feels when you turn the tables. So if you've ever dealt with entitled neighbors, unfair rules, or passive-aggressive power trips, buckle up. Because what they did to me was illegal. What I did back, let's just say, it changed everything. I got home from a business trip to find my key didn't work. At first I thought it was a mistake. Wrong key, jammed lock. I tried again, and again. Then I noticed the door handle was different, newer. That's when I realized someone had changed the locks on my house. I stood there with 2 suitcases, the smell of airport coffee still on my breath, while a smug-looking woman in a pastel cardigan stood across the street. Watching, she waved. HOA Regulation 5.12. Non-compliance with exterior design mandates. Voids access rights, she chirped. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake. This was a message. They didn't like how I'd painted my front door navy blue. Said it disrupted neighborhood cohesion, so they took it upon themselves to lock me out. But here's the twist. They thought I'd quietly change the color back. They thought they'd embarrassed me. But what they actually did was give me the perfect excuse to install a 3,000-pound steel bank vault door on my suburban craftsman home. And trust me, if they hated the color blue, they were going to scream when they saw what came next. Let me rewind for a second. I live in a quiet cul-de-sac in a supposedly prestigious HOA community. You know the type. Perfect lawns, identical mailboxes, Stepford Wives energy. I bought the house 2 years ago. Paid in cash. Moved in solo. That alone made me a problem for them. A single man with no kids, no dog, and God forbid, no interest in the HOA barbecue circuit. My neighbor across the street, Barb, self-appointed enforcer of HOA regulations, welcomed me with a 12-page pamphlet and a warning. We like things a certain way around here. At first I played along, cut my grass weekly, never parked on the street, kept my trash bins invisible. But then one day I painted my front door navy blue. That's it. A bold, clean, dark navy. Within 48 hours I got a letter. Unapproved color. Violates Section 7C. I responded politely. Sent them the paint swatch, asked for approval. No reply, then came the fines. 50 per day, then 100, then 250. They said it. Clashed with the seasonal aesthetic. I appealed, filed formal requests, showed that other homes had non-standard colors. Even Barb had a red gnome on her lawn. Didn't matter. Then I went out of town for 3 days. Business conference. And when I came back, my front door was different. The lock was changed. and taped to the glass was a letter. Due to non-compliance and safety concerns, access has been restricted pending color correction. Restricted from my own house. That was just the beginning. I called a locksmith. He showed up, took one look at the lock, and said, "This isn't a normal replacement. This is a commercial-grade tamper-proof cylinder." Translation: someone went out of their way to make sure I couldn't get back in. When I told him the HOA might have done it, he whistled. "You've got a situation, man." I called the HOA, straight to voicemail. I emailed. No response. I visited their office, closed due to ongoing administrative review. But Barb? Oh, she was suddenly everywhere, walking her schnauzer 6 times a day, casually snapping photos of my front yard. The fines continued, now for unauthorized absence, unmaintained property, and my favorite, creating a hostile aesthetic. Then came the letters from the attorney, cease and desist, threats of lien. I was shocked, then amused, then deeply annoyed. But it didn't stop there. One morning I woke up to find my mailbox had been replaced with a regulation standard version. Mine had been a modern black stainless steel box. Now, beige plastic. Then my trash bins vanished. I found them behind the clubhouse, zip-tied shut. They were trying to make me crack, break, comply. I almost did, until one night. I overheard Barb outside my window, talking to another neighbor. If we make it annoying enough, he'll leave. Or sell. We've done it before. That's when it clicked. This wasn't just about the paint. It was personal. They didn't want someone like me here. So I stopped reacting, and I started planning. I made a few calls. To a lawyer. To a contractor. To a security consultant. Then I ordered it. A titanium reinforced, bank-certified, blast-resistant vault door, custom-built, matted charcoal finish, chrome wheel, fingerprint access. Weighs over a ton. While it was being fabricated, I filed an official complaint with the city and discovered something interesting. The HOA had violated due process. They had no authority to lock me out. No legal mechanism, no vote. They'd made up a rule and acted on it. That was my crack in the armor. When the vault door arrived, installation took 2 cranes and 4 guys in hard hats. Neighbors gathered like it was a block party. Barb came running. "What is that?" I smiled. "Just doing a little compliance work." 2 days later, I received a letter from the HOA. "Your new entryway violates community standards." I replied with a cease and desist of my own, along with a demand to review their meeting minutes, budget allocations, and compliance protocol. Because here's what they didn't expect. I'd also run for the HOA board, and won. See, while they were obsessing over door colors, I had been quietly recruiting allies. Other annoyed homeowners, tired of petty fines and HOA tyranny. We voted Barb out, unanimously. The next HOA meeting was standing room only. I brought a projector, played a slideshow titled, "How to Lose a Community in 12 Steps." Slide 1, Barb's texts. Slide 2, lock change invoice. Slide 3, legal opinion, unsigned, unofficial, illegal. I ended with a photo of my new front door, zoomed in, high definition. Then I turned to Barb. "Do you know what this is?" She glared. "It's a monstrosity." "No," I said. "It's the cost of trying to scare the wrong man." The room went silent. Then someone clapped. Then more. Barb resigned that night. The board voted to drop all fines, reverse all threats, and refund every homeowner fined under her reign. City Code Enforcement launched a review of HOA conduct. And me? I left that meeting, turned my vault door wheel with a satisfying clank, and walked inside like I was cracking Fort Knox. Today, my house still has the vault door. Tourists come by to take pictures. Kids call it the superhero house. Sometimes people ask, wasn't it overkill? Maybe. But when you're up against entitled power trippers and cardigans, sometimes you need to remind them, you don't get to lock people out of their own lives. There's a quote I love, "Don't start a war with someone who builds fortresses for fun." So here's my question for you. What would you have done if your HOA changed your locks? Would you have complied or retaliated? Drop your answers in the comments. And if you stayed till the end, comment "justice served" so I know you're one of the real ones. Oh, and Barb's house. She had to repaint her door navy blue. New regulation. Voted in unanimously. Poetic, isn't it? See you in the next one.